Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So just recently, the Christian, and I put Christian in quotation marks and will explain why I did that, rapper by the name of Lecrae got onto somebody's podcast and basically snitched on himself. Exposed himself, really. On some, well, if I expose myself, clearly you people can't do it. You're not about to get up on some podcast talking about, oh, well, I got some tea, some grape juice, some wine to spill. Oh, what's that? Lecrae was at the Diddy party. Y'all will not be saying that about him. That's basically what he said. Because he's just going to snitch on himself. I'm not going to sit up here and hold y'all. The way he did that was hysterical to me. Like, there's nothing funny about the nature of this stuff, of course, but it's the way he got on there once again and basically said, oh, I'm going to just put this information out there since everything's coming out there. Like, he really thought he was doing something by saying this stuff. He really thought he was going to be in the clear by putting this information out there. Now, I've mentioned this before, and too many other people have said this as well. There are too many of these individuals walking around calling themselves Christians, and they ain't living a Christian life worth two pennies to mash together. They're calling themselves Christians, putting up this front for everybody to see, their followers, but they're out here doing ungodly stuff with ungodly people behind closed doors. And they really act like we are not going to know this stuff. It's called displaying spiritual fruit. We can tell when you're up to no good. Now, of course, there are some people that are good deceivers. What have I said before? The devil is the father of lies and deceit. So if you are out here deceiving people at such a large scale, then clearly you are in league with the devil. Although, for the most part, people can tell when you ain't really about that life. Especially when you know the Bible, when you've read the Bible, when you know what an actual Christian example is supposed to look like and you're living one yourself and you got God as the head of your life and you use wisdom and intelligence and discernment. You can tell. I've been giving Lecrae the side eye for years. I'm going to just be real honest with y'all. Some of the stuff that he's done, some of the people who he's collaborated with, I've been giving him the side eye. So I'm really not surprised by this information. I'm a little bit surprised he came out and said it, but I'm not surprised by this information. Now, just because he admitted, once again, that he was there at a place that he shouldn't have been talking about, oh, well, when you're in the industry, you get involved with a lot of people. I've been involved with this secular celebrity, that secular celebrity. Never mind him mentioning or including any Christian artists who are actually Christian artists who are actually about that life who he collaborated with or could have collaborated with. No, only pointing out the secular artists and the secular celebrities. He said all this to smooth him being at those Diddy parties over, to make it more acceptable that he was in those people's presence. But people have been pointing out over and over and over again to even get in the room with some of these celebrities, some of these artists, some of these singers, some of these other rappers in the industry, in the secular industry. You already have to have done certain things. You already have to have walked through certain doors. You already have to have made certain connections with certain people and gone to certain depths within the industry. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about that, but so many people want to make it seem like, oh, well, you can still be famous without, doing X, Y, Z. Not with the kind of wickedness that runs amok in these industries. Now, I mentioned him talking about how he was at the Diddy parties. He said, okay, I admit I've gone to a few parties. And notice he said parties with an I-E-S, not party with a Y, I-E-S, so multiple parties. So this was not a one and done thing. This was not a, oops, I found myself here by mistake. I'm not supposed to be here because I'm supposed to be a Christian. Whoopsie daisy, I'm not coming back. No, he went back multiple times. He had the audacity to say that he was there, had the audacity to be like, oh yeah, this celebrity was here. There are all these kind of famous celebrities that were there. And what was going on, talking about, yeah, I saw some crazy stuff. Once again, trying to smooth it over by making it seem like he's exposing somebody, anybody really other than himself. But the question is that everybody is asking is, sir, why were you there to begin with? Why did you go to multiple parties to begin with? People can miss me with that, oh, you're being judgmental. No. We're not being ignorant. We're not letting people gaslight us or play in our faces. You claim to be a Christian rapper, so I'm assuming you're living some kind of a Christian lifestyle, some kind of set apart lifestyle, some kind of lifestyle where God is the head of your life. So if you're going to maintain that kind of title, then you need to be maintaining that kind of lifestyle. You don't need to be going out here being involved with evil people in evil industries unless you're getting something out of being involved with them, unless you've gone so deep in the industry that now you're caught up and you ain't got no choices. And once again, we're not taking any excuses because there have been plenty of other Christian artists who, like I said, are about that life, who may have come in contact with some of these secular artists, who may have run into them going places, maybe at the airport, maybe at a restaurant, maybe they were passing through somewhere to go somewhere else, or maybe it was an award show, but you didn't see them getting caught up with these people. You didn't see them going places with them. You didn't see them hugged up with them in pictures. Y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Y'all didn't hear them coming out of the woodwork talking about some, oh yeah, I was at the Diddy party, but not explaining why they were there or how did they end up there. Not giving an explanation as to why their attendance was in a place that they should not have been. And another reason why he could have said that, there's a lot of chatter and a lot of rumors going on YouTube in the middle of all this stuff with the lawsuits with Diddy. There are people alleging that he might be naming names, allegedly, or that might be something he's considering because he doesn't want to go down. I've said before, we need to stop, this idea of him going to prison because 9 times out of 10, he's probably not going to go to prison. Not with as deeply involved as he is with the industry and how much money and power and influence that he has, which is why I said, let the lawsuits ensue because the least that these people can do that he has hurt, that he has disrespected, that he has put through these heinous crimes, the least that they can do is hit him in his pockets. All he cares about is the lust and the pleasures of his own flesh and his money. So what they can do is disrupt that by filing these lawsuits after he done screwed these people over. Like I said, I don't think he's going to prison. And if he decides to sing like a canary and say, hey, this person was at the party doing this, well, this person was in the room even though this was in his house, oh, they did XYZ to this underage person, he could get off. Or he could at least get less of, time, if you will, less lashback from the legal side. Allegedly, though. But even if it's not that, even if that's not the case, once again, we're seeing this situation for what it really is. Like I said, him snitching on himself, him exposing himself so nobody else will come up trying to call themselves doing it, and him trying to smooth over, him being somewhere where he should not have been, him being involved with people he should not have been, and us, well, really confirming what a lot of people have questioned him about, which is whether or not he was really, a Christian rapper or involved in the wrong industry or not. This was really just him trying to smooth that over and convince anybody who will fall for it really to believe anything other than the truth. And one really crazy part about all of this is allegedly there were some people bringing up, I first heard this whenever I was watching Tough News, his YouTube channel. He had mentioned that Celestial, the woman who I talked about before in that TD Jakes video, had actually prophesied that there was some tall, dark-skinned rapper, Christian rapper, who had a large following, who made it seem like he was this Christian on the outside, but behind closed doors, he was doing stuff he had no business. I'm not talking about simple mistakes or him being human like everybody else. I'm talking about bad stuff like him being involved, once again, with very dark forces, if y'all get my drift, behind closed doors, that he had no business involving himself in, especially if he was claiming salvation or claiming to be a Christian who loved the Lord. I was very pleased to see that a lot of people were not here for his hogwash. A lot of people were seeing right through this hot mess. And once again, they're not accepting any excuses. If you're going to be up here calling yourself a Christian singer, rapper, whatever you do, you need to live that lifestyle. You need to be about that life. And if you cannot do that, you need to go sit down somewhere. I get that there's a lot of temptation that comes with being in high places, that comes with being a celebrity, that comes with having a large following. But this is why we preach so much about people having God in their life, having themselves on the right path, making sure God is the head of their life, making sure they have their lives together, making sure that they are truly and genuinely rooted and grounded in good morals, making sure they have a backbone so that they will stand up whenever somebody tries to do something that's wrong or make them do something that's wrong, convince them or tempt them into doing something that's wrong. Because if you don't, whenever you get to these high places, you will crumble. You will end up doing stuff that you shouldn't do. You will end up selling yourself out to the industry. You will end up pimping out your morals. You will end up at the Diddy party, and then when all this stuff starts to come out, snitching on yourself so people won't have to expose you. There's a host of different things that people used to say back in the old days, and that's actually quite biblical that can be applied to this situation. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Bad communication will most certainly corrupt good mannerisms. And your gifts and your talent, which most certainly come without repentance, can get you to rooms and places where only good character, if you have it, will keep you on the right track and from doing stuff you have no business doing. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.